those of you that don't know, Savon, our friend and family, our good brother, and Alex.
Yeah.
The good brother. They have decided to call it quits, put a temporary hold on their podcast.
Temporarily indefinite hold.
Indefinite, yeah. They sounded like they didn't know when they would come back or if they would ever come back. I spoke to him. He sounds like he's in good spirits. He said the same about Alex.
Good.
And from what I gathered from what he was saying, not saying too much, but just podding and lifing at the same time is hard.
It's hard. Yeah.
I promise not to lie to any of you. I didn't anticipate they would have such a serious conversation when Joe played Another One Bites the Dust today, but I'm pleased they did since it allowed us to talk about it. Before we get there though, I watched the most recent episode of Need to Know with Savon and Alex. I saw a lot of stuff that they weren't necessarily saying, but I could also sense the tension in the room. The other day, I was viewing a brief video on YouTube. I believe it was in the film Bulletproof, which starred Damon Wayans and Adam Sandler. In a blooper, it was stated that Adam Sandler was attempting to make Damon Wayne laugh in the car while he was saying, "I'm not sure if I should say that word." Additionally, they were attempting to visit Disneyland. I could see the tension between them. It seemed to him that they were attempting to undermine each other's morality. These don't like each other, I thought. And sure enough, the very next short I saw included an AI guide discussing their animosity toward one another and breaking down various instances that had occurred behind the scenes. I thought, damn, that sucks. I could see it like this after that. With Savon and Alex, I observed the same thing. They are no longer cool. That concludes it. They will not return, and it will have to be for a large bag if they return. They are finished. Savon made a mistake with that. Indeed, I am blaming Savon because although Alex supported Reggie, he was aware of the source of his wealth. They have careers, so not everything, as Joe mentioned. He is aware of Savon's situation. Even though I don't watch the pod, I'm positive he crossed the boundary and was aware of it. But the size of those advertising checks was the reason he didn't care what she was saying. And now I want to discuss the topic they ultimately decided to elaborate on. I apologize. How many times have you heard me say, I don't care if I don't get paid for the first 3 years, 4 years, or however many years. I can make more money doing this than I could doing anything else for anyone else the year after that. Savon, how many times have I stated that? And they were attributing it to DEI. It's amusing. Savon followed the path of Rory and Ma. They discovered that they could get money by spewing out ads left, right, up, down, and diagonally. The strange thing about this is that I'm beginning to realize this, and I detest it, because we don't respect ourselves enough, but we will value this ridiculous thing because they represent large corporations like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, or Walmart, and people will get enthralled with the advertising packages they receive. Oh, those are rather large. I don't care about those advertisements. You will be ignored if they don't get what they want. The fact that Rory and Mal have such a sizable clientele is the sole reason they are still in business. They're doing just enough to get noticed by other businesses, despite their paltry numbers. However, they jump from ship to ship for a reason. No matter how large the advertising is, you guys aren't returning enough. Why in the world would we invest more money in you when those companies realize you're not putting up the necessary numbers? And we can't get you people to buy in on your speaking at McDonald's, Walmart, Coca-Cola, and all these other companies. The funniest part of this is that I'm going to start investigating it. The first thing that springs to mind is the Master P Man and the tale he frequently tells about paying his lawyer $25,000 or $10,000 instead of giving the labels a portion. The lawyer was crucial in that, and I would like to thank him and all other attorneys for that. They are the circumvention, which is the sole reason they are so significant. They learn how you can distribute.
Why can't we use podcasting to accomplish that? Why is it so difficult? I'm just speaking into the future because I haven't done it myself, but I'm sure I'll do this once I get the figures. Why are we unable to approach these businesses directly? And I don't require a McDonald's sponsorship. However, if you decide to use a third party to obtain adverts, why are we required to do so? Then there's the amusing aspect of advertisements, which is why I haven't included any in my movie. Unless it's something I want to provide to my community, you probably won't either. In an advertisement, you are promoting the brand of another person. You must first demonstrate to yourself that you're capable of doing it on your own. That's another slippery slope. And I'm eager to start this. They have a Patreon account, and he mentioned that they once received $5,000 from it. Naturally, that varies, and I can explain that. Mine has fluctuated. But when must you prioritize your audience or clients over the dollar? Joe stated that you must love doing this because of this.
You must be grateful for the 100, 200, or 300 people who regularly view and interact with your content. You may desire 10,000, 25,000, or 100,000 individuals, but what about the 300 and 450 individuals who are your actual foundation? Because there aren't enough of them, people take them for granted. Their viewership is still there. What do you mean that you are unable to proceed? I also had to give credit to someone I didn't want to support. I wanted to emphasize it more, but I also wanted to thank Matt Hoffer. I lost my space. Damn it. I lost my entire crew. Damn it. I'll know. When I return, it won't be the same. But that, I am unable to give up. I am unable to abandon my community. Many people departed, but he persisted. And it looks like they are beginning to return if you look at him right now. I understand that paying for studio time may be costly, as can owning a studio if you don't rent it out and don't have enough money. It's hard. You can't expect your audience to stick around when you're hiring editors and paying for a guest, and you feel like you're stagnating. That is, the two of you. I wasn't able to visit this site every week. Even though I have a terrible tendency to criticize myself, I do it to demonstrate to you all that I share your insecurities. Because many of you have contacted me about content. Many of you give me credit for inspiring you to produce material. One of you is me. I will keep saying this because it's true. But you cannot say to your 300, 400 person audience, we're not going to do this anymore because there's no money in it. It seems like they have wasted all of their time on you. And I see podcasters doing this all over the place. And a special thanks to Flip for noting that you can't stop after 12 or 13 episodes. You must be able to go through that difficult time. They are not informing you that the average is the hard patch, but are you able to maintain that average consistently? My videos have received 20,000 and 15,000 views? Absolutely. But I have seen the decline to the point where it returns to 2,000 views. And it always occurs when I discuss this. A bad video for me is 5,000 views, I'll think to myself. I saw all of my videos reach 3,000, 2,000, and 4,000 views immediately after I said that. I hadn't seen this level of viewership in months. However, to validate Flip's argument, you must be able to endure a difficult period and have faith in your ability to overcome it. My typical viewership is beginning to say things like, "Oh, okay, we're returning." However, you must overcome that. Additionally, the salary varies. YouTube has sent me checks totaling $4,000. YouTube has given me $1,000 in checks. And I recall that when I initially started, this was the part that nobody talked about, but I will always talk about it. You must be content with your gradual advancement and ascent. I recalled those days because it was just a year ago. It haven't been very long. However, folks won't even experience this. I only recall last year because I had made a foolish decision to quit. The outside world put too much pressure on me. I have to mentally examine myself. Returned with 100 views, 120 views, 130 views, and I was thrilled because, hey, they're moving up every video, rather than being annoyed by my previous opinions. Even if there are two perspectives, this is the primary reason Joe consistently claims to watch users with 600 views in order to encourage them to keep making content. When they see someone else with 10,000 views and believe they will never get there, many will give up. They believe this occurs overnight. And even if someone else's trajectory is rising more quickly than yours, they still have to experience it. And it irritates me that Savon's relationship with Reggie is the only reason they're leaving. Alex is furious with Reggie's decision because of Savon. Then he began to view Savon differently. For example, I wonder if I've been allowing this to happen while he's been doing that to me. So they don't currently have a relationship, but I'm not claiming that it will last forever. Alex is as furious as Savon, so they will need to have a behind-the-scenes discussion. Then they will need to delve deeply. Are we prepared to rebuild this to its potential? Because they have already received more than $100,000. They bleeped it out, so I know they have. He said that they were not paying attention to Patreon despite earning $5,000 on the platform. What do you think they were getting paid for those advertisements? However, you have to connect it to what they were saying. Many people said they hadn't seen $800,000. And like many others, I've never seen $800,000 in my life. However, I'll tell you this. If someone approached me today and said, "Elevation, for the next 3 years, we'll give you $800,000. I would quickly dissect that and thought, that's like $260,000 a month. I apologize, but that is for a year for that length of time. That isn't sufficient in my opinion. Over time, I believe I can do that.
I will thus attempt to achieve that. Thank you, but no, no. Therefore, even though they haven't seen such figures, some people will have enough faith in themselves to say no. I'm aware how much money they were getting for advertisements. These advertisements were paying them. So as a result, Savon's mental state deteriorated anytime they stopped getting the money. And additionally, I'm not sure why Alex left, given she was already upset about Reggie's decision and they're talking about another female co-host. Don't blame it Savon for it. Furthermore, I'm not implying that Savon is a nasty guy. You people are misinterpreting things. However, I am stating that Savon is in charge of the funds. I'm stating that Savon is in charge of all the decisions made, and as a result, things went wrong. However, everything I'm talking about is conjecture, so I'm not sure. However, because it gets deep, I did want to talk about it. When you see the money in front of you, it becomes more profound. As Joe mentioned, after that arrangement expires, what happens? For this reason, Savon and Alex made the decision to take a vacation. The offer is expired. We no longer receive the same amount of money. It's not worth it. Therefore, it was never worth it from the perspective of your audience. It was never worth it. Sadly, I've already experienced that on my own. I took a 9-month break from YouTube. This is not what I want to do. Everyone is talking and I continue to make mistakes. My videos are not improving at all. I had all kinds of doubts, but then I thought, man, I really enjoy doing this. I enjoy doing this a lot. I could chat all day. I always take the lead in conversations while I'm hanging out with my buddies. I have been in charge of all meetings and huddles since I was a young child. Listen to Elevation, everyone. Don't say as much. We're going to perform X, Y, Z, and we have to perform X and Y in order to improve. All my life I've been crying just by talking. I thought, whatever the viewership is, and I had to adopt that mindset to expand enormously, because that's precisely what took place. I know I'm making these inspirational speeches a lot, but man, I truly mean it. I try to show you all this in real time because I'm living it. I don't care what one of the millions of subscribers says about me. Many individuals mention that this is the reason Flip speaks what he says to you. Muna tells you what he says for this reason, and all of you. Speaking of Muna, I had a conversation with her, but I'm now working on a Patreon video. For that, you must subscribe to Patreon. And once more, because everything, including the conversion rate, is operating incredibly well, for the first 24 hours, all of my Patreon films are free. Become a subscriber to the page, that's all. All of my videos are available for viewing. However, they're only available for a day. I'll be extinguishing heat. I will not hold you. Therefore, you have to pay $4 if you want to see anything after the 24-hour mark. That's how it operates. Additionally, I'm attempting to provide you guys a game on that. You guys don't trust me. We don't. In any case, I talked to Muna about doing a Patreon video about that. You all subscribed. Tell me your thoughts on this. What should be done in the content space, in your opinion, and why are we handling it the way we are? If you enjoy the video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe to the page. If you have, you already know how awesome we are here. You already know the situation. We're just going to keep things rolling. I appreciate all of the help. I'll see you all shortly. Tranquility.